Hello, beautiful beings. I want to tell you, a few nights ago, I was watching Gods of Egypt, and I had been thinking about Anubis for days, and I've been listening to Egyptian music, and all of a sudden, somebody summoned Anubis, and for some reason, I didn't realize that I'd be seeing Anubis in this movie, even though it's, Gods of Egypt. But there he was, and I paused it. I like delayed gratification. For not too delayed, but a certain amount. And so I paused it for some reason, and I grabbed one of my Oracle decks, and I started shuffling, and out flew Anubis and landed on my table. I was just like that. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. It was so amazing because I had been whining again about, I do this maybe once every couple months. I whine about wanting an earthly visual that I'm not alone. That my guides are here with me, that it's obvious that the ancients are, but I like different earthly visuals sent to me for reassurance on my journey. And that was definitely reassurance. After Dan dropped his physical form, I don't know how long after, a week or so, I was standing at my kitchen sink, and Dan, if you don't know, he's the one that I went through the twin flame lesson with. I don't know if twin flames are an actual thing, but to me, it's definitely a constructed lesson here on Earth. It's a course we take, I believe, for our highest growth. And I'm not holding on to that concept anymore. That's why I don't call him my twin flame anymore, because I don't necessarily believe in that concept anymore. I did when I was supposed to, when I needed to learn as much as I did. If I didn't believe in it, then I wouldn't have learned anything, because I wouldn't have thought that I was going through that lesson. So I was standing at my sink, and I said, are you really here with me? Like, really? Are you really here with me? And I went to do something else, and all of a sudden, bang! Super hard on my kitchen table. I even heard things bounce. And I turned around. It made me jump. I turned around, and I said, what the heck was that? And I went to look under my table, and there he was. He goes, well, you just asked for a sign. You just asked if I'm really here. Are you really here? Wow. That was, unmistakable. And I can have things like that happen, and yet then a year goes by or something, or, just a matter of months. And I'm going, I would really like another sign, even though I know that you're here. I would like another sign. I think that's pretty normal. So I'm getting hungry. Ancients, what are we talking about besides Anubis? I'm hoping that Anubis is a really good sign when I start doing some research on him. Of course it is. So, yes, I have been talking about overextending for a while, because that's, part of something I'm shedding. And I stopped going into this place that I've been going into weekly to see somebody that I met about 6 months ago. She still feels like a soul tribe member, but anytime the exchanges aren't equal, the equal energy exchange, right, then I absolutely have to I have to let go of that person. And it's so beautiful to me, because I used to leave claw marks in people. It used to be such a painful experience to let go of people that I felt incredibly connected to, especially like in the beginning. We just felt so close, and everything flowed, and I felt like I had met another me, and she had too, or whoever it is at the time when that happens. The love, just the love and the synchronicities, and just the bond that we have right away, without even having had spent any time around each other. The songs were flowing. absolutely amazing. The other person is wide open. And then, I'm not saying this will always happen, but if you are a healer and you've been working on yourself for an incredibly long time, it's been predominantly your purpose in your life is to grow as much as possible, to achieve your destiny on the planet, if that is such a thing. It's just being. That's how I achieve my purpose on the planet. It's the more present I am, the more it becomes clear to me. But that doesn't mean take action right now. A lot of the action that it has required of me, fulfilling my destiny on the planet, is it looks like to do nothing, but it's not doing nothing. It's to be, to just be. That is, it feels completely different than how I was originally conditioned by life, not life, by life on planet Earth. It's do more, try harder, do it in a way where more people will see it or engage with it. Like, my videos, it's been, and this is something the full moon is bringing up a little bit for me, is it's been incredibly, well, it feels like divine timing. Not that divine timing can't seem faster, but to me, I feel that I've really had to put a lot of work into feeling comfortable with divine timing, with a much slower pace than my Aries Sagittarius signs would want things. So it's okay that I've needed to have a lot of lessons around slowing down. My whole life I've had people say, you're burning your candle at both ends. And, I'm just like, whatever, man. Maybe I'm not going too fast. Maybe you're going too slow. It's always felt like I was going, way, way, way too fast. And one of the reasons that I have went really fast in my life is because I've been in fear a lot in my life. And so I've wanted results right now to give me a sense of peace and relief, to ease that fear. But through this ascension, I've had to, I haven't had to do any of this, but why wouldn't I? It's what's happening. It's, I'm ascending. I'm ascending back to my original state of being in this physical form. And so not feeling comforted when I'm in fear, not feeling comforted in the ways that maybe used to make me feel better if I was in fear, makes it to where the fear remains. And so then I need to soothe it and heal it differently than I ever did. What are some of the ways that, well, praying about it. I'm not religious, but prayer definitely works. It has for me. Remove this fear and direct my attention to what you'd have me be. I've said it with the F word included many times in my life, because all I want to do is not feel fear anymore. It's mental fear. And I can't, if I'm overthinking and I've gotten myself into a fear tizzy, my car breaks down and it just brings up, it feels like it just automatically brings up fear, but it's how I'm thinking about it that's bringing up the fear. How I'm seeing it. Well, because I'll be stranded. I won't be able to go work and make money to pay for this car. And, that's another thing that comes up around the full moons and the new moons is why do we all have to work so freaking physically hard? Like, why do we have to work so hard to make money, to survive on, that's just overthinking. So I need to stop doing that. I'm catching myself very quickly. Today I was driving to get myself a new heater. I woke up super hot in the middle of the night, and because one of my heaters wasn't shutting off. And so, it's shutting off now, and I cleaned it only a few weeks ago. So I know it's not dirty. I don't know why it's doing that, but I went and got myself another heater today. And as I was in traffic, I started overthinking about what's it what's the point? Seriously, day after day, are you kidding me? They look so similar. And whoever, please, yeah, you can say it all you want that I'm not grateful. I am. This is me navigating my ascension and how the planets affect me. This is my life. And if I look back, it's like 7 years when I started recording these videos. I'm a lot different than I used to be. And that is such a good sign. It's so crazy looking back, too, how much my appearance has changed through all those years. How much I used to dye my hair and, just do different things. And yeah, it's very interesting what these physical forms go through, what we go through, um, life on planet Earth. I've also been thinking off and on about what I'm going to ask Jonathan on the 27th when I get to talk to him again. It's very exciting. For the last 4 months, I haven't been able to get tickets for one, for the main reason is because, well, divine timing, I wasn't supposed to. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm letting that go. I wasn't supposed to talk to Jonathan this month. And if I'm supposed to talk to Jonathan, then it'll be made plainly obvious. That's another thing that helps with fear a lot. And okay, so getting out of fear, not feeling fear anymore, means that I'm not thinking fearful thoughts. If I'm not thinking any fearful thoughts, there may be a feeling of anxiety in my body that I'm picking up from the collective or planetarily. It's happening because of that. But if it's a flat out fear, if I'm feeling anxious about something in my life, it's situational usually. I don't just, well, yeah, I did in the very first part of my ascension. I was shedding so much fear that I had a lot of feelings of anxiety. They're showing me, no, actually, okay, thank you so much that they're saying I was right to say that I don't feel fear unless there's something I'm feeling fearful about. So they're showing me that, of course, in past situations when I felt like I was in fear more often, on a daily basis, really, I was in situations to be around presenters in my life to help me shed fuck tons of fear. Yeah, okay. So there's really not that much fear that comes up anymore. Of course, the last go around with fear was about my car, and I was able to stay very, very conscious through that experience. And I felt I was even conscious of the times that I was unconscious. Um, hmm. Can I be conscious and unconscious? Okay, yes, right. Okay, so the duration of the times where I would go with the fearful thoughts about my car, sure. Like if they wouldn't have been able to put me in a different car from their lot, then or and no, this right. If they wouldn't have been able to help me get rid of what I owed on the car that was, done for, if that wouldn't have been able to be figured out, then I would have been stuck paying that 7,500 off and then also getting into a new car. I would have had two car payments and I wouldn't have been able to do that. And so the fear that kept coming up for me was, my credit is so good now. I worked really, really hard at it. That mental commentary around, well, I'm just going to have to let it go. I'm going to have to let the original Subaru go and just go ahead and get another vehicle. I need another vehicle, or else I'm going to have to pay that 7,500 off and settle for a really just a really old car for $1,200 or something, $1,500, which is fine. I used to do that a lot and just drove them till the wheels fall off. But they were at a mechanic's often also, so I just had my heart set on getting around the same year or hopefully a little bit newer, and I did. It's a 2016 with 100,000 miles less than my 2015. I mean, it worked out better than I ever possibly could have imagined. But those are the times that they're showing me that I was very aware of the potential to become, immersed in fear, to go with all those fear thoughts and be unconscious, and be stressed out, cortisol levels go up, crying, worried about it. That used to be my natural state of being, but it's not anymore. And so obviously the situation could have provoked or evoked a lot of fear. But I stayed conscious and aware, and so I was kind of fearful and conscious and aware of it at the same time. That's a new experience for me. That's beautiful. I made a lot of videos during it. That helped a lot too. So through our ascension, fewer and fewer presenters need to show up in order to help me outgrow fear. That's so beautiful. We are on planet Earth, so things will always happen. Things will always come up that could evoke fear. However, the longer I go through this ascension, the more conscious I am, the more aware I stay, and they're reminding me, they're telling me, I've been doubting it recently, that there is a point that I will get to where it's all automatic. There won't be the effort to turn my attention back to presence. That's our natural state of being. So of course that's attainable. Of course that's achievable. I'm already that. We are already that. See, that's one reason these videos help me so much, is because as I'm channeling this to you, I'm getting my answers. I'm getting my reminders that everything's okay. You don't have to do it perfect. You don't have to do your life perfect, or you'll miss the prize, or you won't fulfill your destiny. I don't even know what perfect looks like, because I don't have a manual to go by to say, oh, I should be doing it like this. One thing that has come up just a little tiny bit, not a whole lot, for through this full moon, is that if I was really doing it right, I wouldn't be using marijuana at all, not even to sleep. So right before I started recording this video, they told me to look up. I've never ever done this, never even had the thought about it. They said, look up. I Googled something like people that have helped the world that used marijuana. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. I'm going to have to go back and look again. I cannot believe the amount of people that were open about it, that were, highly intelligent, that have helped the world. And they advocated for it. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. That has been one thing. It's like, is it going to keep me from fulfilling my destiny? At one point, I had talked to Jonathan about it. If you don't know who Jonathan is, he is Elaine Thorpe's twin soul, and she goes into trance and she channels him. And he's who I get to talk to again on the 27th. And I asked him, I had been about 3 weeks quit from combusting marijuana. I had quit altogether at that point. And I asked him about it, and he said, no, that's right. I did not ask him about it. He said, you have to take care of your health, my dear. And I was bawling. I think it was No, it was actually the very first time that I ever got to talk to him. I had left my earbuds in, and he said the connection was bad, and I was feeling incredibly stressed out, and I was worried that if I put my earbuds in the case, I kept hearing, "Put your earbuds in the case." And I was just so scared that I would lose my connection with him. He could hear me well enough for us to talk, but I felt so bad because he was having a difficult time hearing me. Hasn't happened since then. I knew it was the earbuds. But he said, "You must take care of your health, my dear." I was very underweight. I had bronchitis. I was combusting marijuana. Yeah, it was summer. I was working really hard. I was not in a good place. And I said, I quit smoking marijuana about 3 weeks ago. And he said, "Good, that's good." And I said, why did I feel the need to smoke marijuana? And he said, "Because of fear." And he said, you are healing that. You are healing those things now. And so in my mind, I've had that I shouldn't use it at all for any beneficial reason, because that means I'm holding on to fear. But I don't feel that that's the case. I feel for myself, the way I'm using marijuana in my life, well, just right now, they're saying it doesn't mean forever. It's just right now. And marijuana, just for me, I'm not saying for you, has been a huge teacher for me as far as balance goes. The fact that I have been able to find balance with it and not have mental commentary just continuously around it. They're reminding me that that was happening. Those times that that was happening is when I was overusing it. When I was using it, that's it. When I was using it addictively, like an addict would. And yeah, so, there may come a time in my life where I'm not using it at all. I rarely ever use it during the day now. So, but where's the manual for that though, too? Um, it's also interesting. It all really comes down to me, not overthinking things, because then the natural way to see it will automatically come. Yeah, my part, I feel, is to just keep working on balance with things. If I'm starting to think about whatever the it is too much, work on balancing it, or letting it go completely for a while. Of course, my mind has always said, forever. When I've gotten to a point where I just can't think about it anymore, then I'll stop doing it, or I'll start doing it, whatever the it is, and then I get some relief in that. But that's not really balanced either. But I've always learned things from quitting things just because I'm overthinking. It has definitely brought me relief from overthinking. And at one point in my life, that's all that ever mattered. Really, that's right. They're saying at one point, it just felt a lot more desperate to stop overthinking. Now it feels definitely more the norm to not be overthinking. Okay, I saw something today, just actually recording this video, that I haven't seen before, and that is when I start thinking, what's the point here? What is the point? I really, really want the answer. Who wouldn't? I need to not think that way anymore. I need to recognize that that's not a question that I need answered. Okay, wow. Yes, that's a question that I already have the answer to. That's right. I already have the answer to that. I just may not be able to retain it in this physical form brain. And also, they're saying, well, why would you ask that? Well, relief, like clarity, the ultimate clarity. Why are we here? Wouldn't the answer, just a pure, pristine answer, just oh, la la la, this is why you're here. Oh, it's got to be for a good reason, though. They're showing me this repetitive dream that I used to have. Haven't had it for a really long time, but I can see it so well. I would come up to, it was a cabin. It was a cabin, and it was a long cabin, and it was just one floor. And there was a bunch of, and I would hear my family inside, like my mom and my dad, my grandmother and my grandpa, my sisters, just, but my brothers-in-law, just family in there. I don't know if my brother-in-laws were there. I don't know, but I know that it was my mom and my dad and my grandmother and grandpa family, and they're talking, and I was, for some reason, I always snuck into that cabin. I could not be seen. I was on a mission, and I would go through all these rooms. I had to go through all these rooms were open. I had to go through these rooms to go through the cabin, and each room was a different theme. And each room felt so incredibly familiar to me. And I would get all the way through the cabin without anybody seeing me, and I didn't see anybody either. I could just hear them talking and laughing. A lot like when I was a little kid and we'd go to my grandparents' house, and I'd be laying in my sleeping bag on the living room floor, and just smelling the cinnamon roll smells and that we had just had, and just smelling their coffee, and just the tink of their teaspoons on their coffee mugs, and talking and laughing, and oh, it was just some of my best memories. Why did that remind me of that? Is that the ADHD? When I get immersed in a different scenario or something, I'm so there that I forget all about what I was just talking about. It completely relates, though. Yes, the cabin. Thank you. Going through the cabin, that's what it felt like, going through all these different rooms. And I would come out the last door onto a deck, and this deck was overlooking the river. And standing against the rails of this deck was a man in a long white robe, and he had a long white beard and long white hair. And I don't yeah he didn't seem old to me, though, but he seemed incredibly wise, and he had a scroll. And I'd walk out on the deck, and I'd look at him, and he was so familiar to me, and he would smile at me, and he'd say, "This is the answer to life." And he would unroll that scroll, and I would look at it, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh." And it felt like it was so simple. Like Papa G says, it's just so simple. But when I would wake up, I would never remember what was written on that scroll. One time there was a name that I retained, and it was Louis Pousset, like the fifth, or the something. It was a what do you call those? My lip is twitching. It's pulsing. That's a twitch, but this is different. A twitch is usually like, this is a steady pulsing. And I just got the stares too when it started happening. I researched, it looked like Louis. It was, I think, French, but it was pronounced Louis Pousset, the something, the 15th or something like that, and I haven't been able to find one. King Louis. Wow, my mouth is twitching so much. King Louis. Louis, but it was signed at the bottom, Louis Pousset. Yeah, something in French. Anyway, that was a cool dream. Don't know why I had it, but it all has to do with presence. The fact that we are presence. We are human beings, not human doings. They're showing me 10 years from now, I'll have a lot more subscribers on YouTube. But that's not what the point is. I forget what the point is sometimes, because when I watch other YouTube videos, a lot of the point is to make it presentable to enough people that you can get a lot of subscribers. My brain just doesn't seem to work like that. I'm so grateful that my purpose in life doesn't require me really even having anything with me. Eckhart has said that a lot. He said that all he needs is basically a chair, and he doesn't have to remember anything. He doesn't have to retain anything. It's just, being a clear open channel for the divine to pour through to others in the unique way that they need in that moment. There's something I feel that I'm shedding. I feel like I'm shedding the one that is trying to fulfill their destiny on the planet. I just barely started seeing this morning. I feel like I'm shedding the one that needs to figure any of it out. Is there a even better way to put this? I can't wait to have my tea. I'm having the ginger and turmeric. I've been practicing that word because I was saying it wrong before. I was saying turmeric. I told my doctor, I said, I've been saying turmeric, but it's turmeric, right? He's just like, I don't think it really matters. And I really liked that answer. Turmeric. I can't wait to have that tea. Shedding. See, that's the interesting thing about being in a shed. That's what the ascension process is. Of course, I'll always be shedding something. We can always be fine-tuning more. The divine will always be pruning us a bit more. I'm shedding the one that gets in a bunch of traffic and starts thinking, what is the freaking point? Why do we have to work so much? That one. The one that is questioning everything. I don't as much anymore, but man, this necklace that my oldest daughter gave me, isn't it just magnificent? It just caught my eye. It's just so lit up. I love to wear things that just light up like that. My opal does that my dad gave me. My opal holds so much light. My moonstone holds so much light. There's so many magnificent colors in her. Yeah, they're very, very similar, these guys are. Incredibly similar colors. The one, thank you. The one that, I'm shedding the one that feels like there's just this one thing. If I could realize, then I could, I haven't realized this one thing, and it's obstructing the abundance that's here for me. That's just right on the other side of this one realization. That's bullshit. That is not, no, that is not true. That is absolutely not true, but it has persisted because it's potent. It can get my attention, they're saying. It takes incredibly potent things to knock me unconscious these days. And I feel like I'm passing with cosmic A pluses, just like Steve. I mean, it's just, you don't even know what it means, Steve, when you tell me that my videos are helping you to navigate your life too, to help see things differently, to help see things in a more expansive way. I mean, you didn't say those words, but that's how I took it. And it's so beautiful to me too, how somebody can talk about something they heard in one of my videos and and they'll say it in their words, how they heard me say it, and it's completely different than how I was saying it when I was conveying it to you. And that, I mean, it blew my mind the other day. It was so expansive because I'm saying it in the way that it's coming out in this moment, but you are hearing it in the way that you need to hear it to help bring relief in your life. That is absolutely incredible to me because I have well, I shed that, but maybe not completely, but I'm shedding any worry about, are you going to understand are you going to understand any of this? That's so useless. That's so useless. When we're just being ourselves and we're doing our best to be a clear open channel for the divine, we can't compare that to anybody. That's that's hugely self-defeating, and also a very potent thought that comes in to help us, to, that's really the only thing they're showing me. They're saying the only thing that could really obstruct your path, but never for good, is to go with the thoughts, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing it right, I should be doing it differently. I pray enough for clarity, make it plainly obvious. I just love that prayer so much. Make it plainly obvious, fill in the blank. Because I know that it's going to be made plainly obvious, and that's either true or it's not. So, this video is a lot more optimistic than I thought it was going to be. I just, once again, I'm remembering just how these videos are to aid in my ascension. I feel so much more present, so much. I was in my head a bit when I started recording because that's why they were saying let's make a video, and I was just like, I'm not feeling super positive right now. It's because I was feeling, what's the point? And I also know that has, a lot to do with somebody that I love dearly. I think that's it for now. I am hungry. Ancients, is that it for now? They're showing me that really cool wall that popped up several months ago with a folder in it. They just showed me that wall, so that's that. They constructed that for me a while back to where, because I'm really working on the ADHD thing, if that's what it is, to be able to think about something and then, well, basically I did in this video. I thought about something and then completely forgot. And it was just moments later, they showed me, what it was that I thought that I forgot. So I think I just need to shed. I feel I'm seeing it now. I need to shed off the idea that I'm forgetting just because people are watching me. That's where it comes from, really. If I was holding satsang with somebody and lost, was here and then went here to a different thought and lost that original train of thought, it's different. It's completely different. Well, I don't think, oh, I forgot. Oh, okay, so that's just all I need to shed is, oh, I just forgot. And I feel like I pretty much did that in this video too, because I talked about, is this ADHD? Is that when I fully give my attention to an idea of a visual from, that I was pertaining to, I immerse myself in that, and they're saying that's being fully present. I'm looking over here because this is where the thought came in that I was giving my attention to. So then I'm turning my attention away from the original thought. So then when that one's over, I come back to this one, and I can't see it in my mind. They're saying stop labeling it as forgetting and it will get better. Okay, that's so beautiful. I can totally do that. I'm also seeing how much more balanced my emotions are. That's something that I actually didn't ever think was going to happen for me, but it has just taken practice, just like anything else. Especially if you've suffered from really intense PTSD, these things can take a bit longer. It seems like it's never going to come to fruition, whatever I've been practicing letting go of, because it just automatically comes up, but it doesn't automatically come up anymore. Um, no, it's a lot of things that I couldn't even imagine overcoming. I don't even remember what they were anymore. So we're not in a hurry. I'm not running out of time. And on the 27th, definitely one question I'm asking Jonathan is, who is my spirit guide? I'm not seeing that clearly. I've just felt like the ones, oh, is Sam? Is it Sam? Because I met a Native American man named Sam in 1998 when Andrea was teaching me how to contact, my guide. Will you turn the heater on, please? Did I turn it all the way off? I had the new one plugged in for a bit. When I ask them to turn the heater on for me, if it's within 20 seconds, 30 seconds is pushing it, but 20 seconds specifically, when it's in that length of time, then I absolutely know that they turned it on for me. Yeah, it's exciting. I've done it around just automatically. I'm so used to doing it now. Just automatically, I do it when people are around me and it happens and they're just like, what just happened? Because I'll ask out loud and they'll laugh, and then on my heater will come. And it just thrills me when that happens. Yeah. Was there something in that folder? Why, when I picture that folder, do I see like tiger stripes? Rain! Rain, you just messaged me. I can't wait to see. I think you sent me a voice clip. That's very exciting. Oh, yeah, audio clip. Okay, awesome. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, satsangwithmamaji@gmail.com. We love you so much.